So I requested it yesterday. So to do this and take minutes.
I have faith you can do that.
So I requested it yesterday.
The minutes are pretty straightforward. You write down the time. And
Yeah,
you made what motion.
yeah, yeah, same as point out. And I would say this is a relatively benign report. I have faith in them. Yeah.
So what do I want to do? I'm going to mute.
How are you?
In real time? That's the recording, right?
What's happening?
Are you going up to the second one? Chamber thing? Reactors.
It seems to be, it's not in real time, actually.
Golden Leaf Georgia EDC.
So there's
It's
a delay.
really well at that.
But I can't do it.
They do a bang up job.
Oh, no.
There's just said that there are 330 people signed up with them.
Yeah, no, this, I would say 500 people go to this. It's like everybody in the community tries to go there because it's like their last chance before crazy summer hits. People, I've got crazy summer already. Yeah, I know. Is it summer? No. Well, it's winter today.
So we're
60.
we're out.
And we have a quorum right now, right?
We do.
I don't know if it sounds weird.
Good Lord, so she can-
Oh,
As long as.
we did get an answer from Laura. She only responds to me and she did say she was coming.
Okay, if you don't mind, I'm gonna start just because we can. Yeah. Okay. 4:00. Welcome to the Audit and Finance Committee. Welcome to Jim. So happy to have, not you, Jim, you too. I'm so happy to have you have joined us. We really appreciate your participation and support. Either way, Jim or James, actually.
Jim, please.
Jim, okay. First call your attention to the approval of the May 14th meeting minutes. Now, would this be, I'm gonna ask Jim Sitwin here, approval, do you want to do all three together? Or,
I think you need a unique motion. To the night.
okay, so we'll go with the approval of the May 14th minutes, which have been provided previously.
And you could put the finance.
And I will put them,
You know,
these are the ones we're looking at though, right here.
maybe you.
I'll do one at a time. So this is the May 14th meeting minutes. I would ask for a motion to. Okay, and I was absent, can I approve?
You can make a motion.
Motion. I'll make the motion.
I'll second it because I wasn't here either.
And is there any discussion on that? I think,
So just for both of your clarifications, you do not have to attend the meeting to be able to vote. You can for their approval, as long as you believe it represent a fair record of the meeting.
well, based on what was reported at the board, full board meeting, I think that, you know, pretty good. Take on it, so, there's no more discussion. A vote in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, abstained, the motion carries. Approval of the May 24th financials, which is included in your package. And I would ask, I don't know if Jim or Deanna, who wants to take kind of a conversation here through the May highlights?
Well, it's usually me.
Okay.
So, fund balance is at 1.032. No, it's down a bit. We are awaiting, how much from the county? We're awaiting,
170.
yeah,
No,
it's not, yeah, 173,000, yes, from the county. So that's, cash is low. But we still have it, we still have quite a bit of it, but it's just lower than I used to. And that is forthcoming. We had a T-bill that matured. In May, and the value, the gains were about $930. It was reinvested at 5.38. And another T-bill for another 6 months. And incidentally, I just renewed another one. This one I renewed for 3 months. The rates are good, and just because that's one. So that one got renewed today.
and what's the rate on that one?
5.38. So the, yeah, at 3 months, the other one was 5.34.
What's
6 months.
What did it then before 3 months? How many months did it then?
6.
It was 6. What was 6 then? Was
The previous rate was,
I am.
Yeah,
It was
they
the
did-
initial rate that you went in on that one.
Yeah, I mean, it's 6 months ago, it was considerably higher, but I don't have.
It was. And But what was interesting is that, you know, the market responded yesterday to the fact that the job report was so unexpectedly favorable. And the Fed actually came right out and said that they were going to alter rates for at least
July was their
their next meeting, which should be a quarter. So I would imagine that the rest of the year we'll continue to see these rates.
Um. So, I mean, there's really not much. The income is a little bit short, most of which has to do with the difference in the budget, what we budgeted for the Warren County allocation. The expenses are a little bit over, but there are 5 pay periods and, we budget across all 5 months evenly, so that will show up periodically and, I had to get a new laptop. Yeah, it brings an additional marketing cost. There was one thing we talked about doing that I haven't adjusted on these financials was to, capitalize
Computer,
no,
Or the technical-
the website update.
why don't you just explain what that is? It's in here as an expense right now.
It's not showing there isolated in May because the expense hit in April. But we are, because our service provider for our website they changed. They retired and they have, someone else has taken over control of the website, but they need to do necessary updates to the website to be able to manage it. It's an old website, I guess.
So
So,
let me back up. We contract with a firm that does economic development, organizational website and online support. I have been with them since the time that we stood up our website. They changed their business model and decided to get out of the part of actively supporting websites, and now they do consulting work about compliance and provide the back end to other providers who actually do the day-to-day work. When they did that, they found us a preferred partner that they recommended that we transition to. But no matter whether we went to their preferred partner or we went out onto our own, we were going to have to encounter paying for whatever the current version of the back end, which is it's a WordPress based thing. And also they had a specific discount with the provider of our database. We have an economic development database that sits behind all of this, so that you can do like the site search, you can find out how many people live here, all of those kind of things. That they had a long-term agreement on that, so whoever comes in next pays a higher rate. So we were going to experience some cost. We did a little bit of research to determine whether or not there was a better opportunity for us. We could have gone to local providers who don't do economic development, just do general websites, or maybe a modest amount less, but we wouldn't have had the economic database.
Like that.
So
What's the name of the firm?
that we're with now, or that we left.
With now.
HUESTO.
They're out of Buffalo. All of them do work national, and most of the people we talk to are in Charlotte. The original organization was Atlas, which was based outside of Denver. The movement has been pretty much seamless, and there's been no disruption in service, and I don't think anyone's even noticed the costs of this.
But it's a one-time
Well, it's
cost
a one-time.
relative to the adjustment, which is, so when we talked about it, I said, if you're gonna get a couple years benefit over that, you're not gonna do this again. Take it as a depreciable asset. And I think it fed in your depreciable asset category.
That's mostly for your benefit as a new guy.
No, appreciate it.
I think they just took over the contract. We were probably well served to just let that contract run and buy whatever time we want to figure out what our long-term strategy is. And I do think we're in conversations with Chuck Barton at the IDA about whether we would ever want to consider creating a common back end for the two of them. I think buying ourselves enough time to figure out what the better long-term answer is. The thing about marketing and about three can also be confusing. The marketing costs are higher, but we budgeted for a position that we haven't filled, and so that's lower.
Mhm.
Eventually, it's my intention that we will post that position, and if she applies for it, that expense will move into our staff the way that it was originally budgeted. But every month that she works as a contractor, we're booking them in the marketing expense, not in the personnel. So you'll see that line higher, and the personnel will continue to run up.
And netting all three of those kind of consistent budget variances, one being the county, which I think is 1,600 a month. How much is it?
How much
What's the variance every month?
The variance is, no, it's like 4,000.
4,000, so 40,000, that overage, I mean, that deduction in income. And then the expense that we didn't hire the person netted with the fact that we brought three in, so.
Mhm.
There will be you can identify by the end of the year, basically, at this point.
So
How much?
I don't want to make this too complicated, but the net difference this month is about $3,000. About half of it is due to the fact that we had a fifth pay period, and about half
Yeah.
of it is due to the computer that we bought.
Mm.
That what we bought.
Not what I have. Unfortunately.
Good number.
We'll go around that. Okay, that's half of this. The difference between seven and four is three.
Is
There we go.
That's a day. So, any questions on the financials for anyone? If not, I would ask for a motion to approve the May financials. All motion. And second. Any discussion? If there's none, I'd ask for a vote of aye or yay. Nay. If you're in favor? Aye. Against, abstain, motion does carry. Approval of the EDC 2023-990. You are gonna make us look through that, huh?
You don't have to.
No, you were.
I
supposed
did
to
a
have
quick, I did a quick check
Oh, I thought you were
on
going through everything.
the balance sheet against the one you included here, and the numbers lined up on the 990. I looked at the board of directors, and it looked like they cleaned that up, and they put down the 10 seats. If I remember correctly, those were the three issues. Did you get the explanation on that one item that was still outstanding as to what they had done?
The one item
I
is,
can't recall.
it's
I was trying to figure it
it's
out.
because it's a gift in kind that was
They took off the gift and the expense, but they explained why that was.
yeah, because, it's a service, it's an exchange of goods.
Correct,
not
and not
service.
So again, for your benefit, Jim. The 990 had some discrepancies with the financials that you filed on our annual disclosure to the state. The original one.
Well, I don't want to say, they're not discrepancies, they were explained.
They were inconsistencies that could have caused confusion.
Yeah, sure.
And so we made the decision to delay posting them until we could get those resolved, which we have now. And now this is the 990 that we would like to file with the state that accompanies our financials and matches to it. Normally, we would try to do these things together. We had to split them apart because we wanted to ensure that all understand what the differences were.
Well, I didn't spend any tremendous amount of time on it. I looked at the profit, I looked at the assets, the liabilities, they agreed. I checked out the board list and I checked out the item count on that line, which all agreed. And those were what I had in my notes. Plus she was checking on something at point, which I didn't have a problem with the point because they netted the expense and the income. So there was no change to the bottom line.
Let's pull it out in a couple of them.
I believe it's clean and ready for you to work with.
I didn't say anything that jumped out at
Be
me.
approving to advance it to the board, because the board is required to approve it before.
Did you send it out to the board? Because you have to send it
We
to.
sent it with this materials that was.
Oh, I didn't open that. Sorry, I mean, that's the-
Okay.
How much did we pay for the audit? Did they charge us for the?
They charged us for the 990, and so it was 11,
Just the
11 something, 11. no?
Well,
I don't know how they would.
they didn't charge, I don't think they charged us any additional for the 990. They charged us additional for the investment report, which we were required to do because we now invest in Tito. And that was outside of their original scope,
There's additional for them.
but it was always a contracting. They didn't give you a delineation of the hours that were spent on it, but it was
Gotcha.
always part of the scope of the original.
So they charged you for correcting the board of directors that they pulled out
No,
of the
they didn't
minutes?
charge for correcting it, it's just, there's a separate line, like Jim says, there's a separate line. item.
Oh, okay, so the total is still.
They charge us for the audit,
I wanted
they
to-
charge us for filing the taxes, and then they charge us for the 990,
Yeah,
but they all make up the fee
the
that
fee
was
quote.
originally there.
Right, I
Well-
wanted to know if they charge us for the. That is, I guess. You didn't get that. Okay, okay.
So it's 13. What's that?
1,300, no, 14,000.
13,000.
Let's say 1,300, I want that.
Yeah.
If there is no more questions, I would ask for a motion to approve the 990 to go to the board.
So moved.
Jim, second, Laura, any discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same, motion carried. Review the changes to the open meeting law.
We had a conference call with, our attorney, which is part of Harris Beach, to review the recent, changes in open meetings law, just to net those out quickly. It used to be that organizations, where the governor appointed them had a different set of open meetings requirements than just, organizations which were publicly funded. Essentially, in the new legislation, they merge those together, so the requirements, the more stringent requirements that are associated with the government appointed organizations now apply to all publicly funded organizations. The net of that is that we have to make our meetings available online. You have to post how they can be viewed online. And that a recording of those meetings has to be linked to our website and available for 5 years. There's other small changes, but those are the two most material. For the LDC, which we chair, this is not a very big deviation because we've been following a protocol like that. For the EDC, it will be different. We have always essentially made the meetings themselves things that people had to attend in person, including any members of the public. And we have made the decision to not record them and to not essentially function with people who are off-site being able to participate in the meetings. If you do that, you have to notice those locations in the old way of doing things. And somebody would, if Mike McCarty was going to be a part of our meeting 6 months ago and he was on the road in Kansas City, he would have to say that his hotel in Kansas City was a public location. Somebody could go watch the meeting there with him. All of that silliness is gone now. However, in the discussion with your speech, I learned things I did not know, which is that even before this was true, before the new law passed, as long as we have a quorum in our stated room, like here, we can allow remote participation by our board. They can vote, and we do not have to notice their location. The only reason you have to notice their location is if you are needing them to make a quorum. That was news to me, and maybe I should have understood that before. I did not. I think this will be most material to our order representative. We're going to talk about it at tomorrow's board meeting, but my guess is that she will want to be able to participate that way, and we're going to have to think
Oh,
about.
Orda, I think it's
Yeah,
Orda.
I mean, she drives down from Lake Placid for our monthly meeting.
She's leaving there at 6:30 in the morning.
I actually think this is how she functions in her order world, and I think we probably want to make this doable for her
Yeah,
this way. I do worry that we will never see her. And I wonder if as a board, we may want to consider whether we would ever have a meeting at Gore or somewhere during the course of the year, just to try to create some kind of interaction, but that's up to you guys. I expect when I deliver this information to the full board, that there will at least we will want to have some discussion about how we may want to modify our approach. Right now, our protocols are not reflective of the law. So I believe the governance committee should probably work on that policy to make sure that it reflects whatever is the will of the board in terms of how we would like to conduct our business going forward. So tomorrow, we will make sure that everybody knows what the legal advice was, and then take direction from the full board as to what we want to do next. In the meantime, we will comply. So you'll see, we're recording this meeting right now, and tomorrow's meeting will be recorded. Both of them will be available live online.
They're actually being live streamed. This one, they're on YouTube.
Alright.
And we do, we have
Any
a
questions? Anybody? There's no resolution needed, discussion, moving on to discussion regarding staffing.
So about 7 minutes ago, I got. It was 17 minutes, ago, sorry. I got, and we had farmed out. Position analysis for 3 positions. For our finance person, for Tricia's position as the economic development coordinator, and for the position that we were proposing to post as the economic development communications coordinator. At Sue's suggestion and the HR professional, she suggested that we get some kind of benchmark or whatever we were going to post that position for, and since we had never done it for the other 2 positions, we did that at the same time. I got them, I have not reviewed them, but hopefully we have enough information where we'll be able to set a reasonable guideline for what the part-time compensation is. When I did talk to them in person, I mean, over the phone earlier in the week, they told me that what we were currently paying as a contractor was very much in the range of what they were discovering. So I'm not anticipating that it's significantly different from what our current run rate is for the position. So it's a part-time position, when we pointed at 20 hours a week, although we can reserve the ability to go.
This is the one that Bree
It's
is.
sitting in. So essentially what we had originally planned to fund a full-time position. When the county did not fully fund us, we made the adjustment to make it a part-time position. So Bree, over the last several months, has been sitting in that position as a contractor. And now we're hoping to be able to post with the right data of a permanent part-time position.
Are we paying her through an agency or are we paying her?
Pay her direct. And I'm
Yeah,
very,
independent agreements and all the things that go along with that.
and I'm very comfortable that she is likely to apply for the job, but we will entertain all potential applicants.
Does she have other work that aligns with what she
That's
does for
exactly where I
us?
was going, yes.
Because otherwise you have another issue because they've changed independent contractor laws.
And yes, so the whole reason that we hired her is because of the other work that she continues to do.
She has other contracts.
Yes. So, I think the question will be whether those continue once she takes a permanent position with us. We'll take that up.
There's a lot of rules with that. You gotta be very, very careful. And when you have independent contractors who are really employees and vice versa, there's falls back on the employer, not the employee.
I think one of the things that's key is that oftentimes my experience is that, organizations do that to avoid paying the full load cost.
That's why there's rules preventing it, so.
Yeah, she has no intention of pursuing any of that anyway, so, that's why she's been able to function as a 1099 all this time. So I think we're all good there, but, hopefully we will be able to post the position in 3 days.
Anything else on staffing?
So I will also review the, financial compensation associated with the other 2 positions, and, if there's anything that I believe is actionable, subsequent.
I'll move on to review of policies 6, 7, 8, 9, and 11.
So the policies were sent out. I apologize, Jim. They were not sent out this week. They were sent out as of the last time. Yeah. So I think we're gonna have to keep pushing it forward because I need to make sure that Jim gets a
Okay.
copy of them. But does anybody have any comments or has anybody reviewed these?
I read them before the last meeting.
I don't remember for this one either, yeah. I. Part of me is like, I don't know what it should be, I mean, I can read it, yeah, it makes sense. But,
I
I
think
don't
that's
know if
fine.
you're asking us in terms of there's a law that changed that we have to change it. This is just policy,
They're
okay,
just policy. The governance has undertaken to revise all the policies and just
Yeah.
make sure they're up to date. And so they wanted to make sure that some of them got reviewed by us. These, I mean, they're all policies that somehow touch my us.
I want to clarify that. They don't necessarily want to what they want to do is make sure that they're being reviewed annually,
Okay,
and that everyone has looked at them to determine if there is a need.
yeah, because the need might be, oh, that doesn't make sense, we're not doing that, but if it's law need, I wouldn't take a stab at that.
So
Personally, I
it's
would.
possible that you guys will decide as a group that no changes are required. But one of the things that the best practices associated with public sector audits was this idea that
Mhm.
there at least, there's some evidence that the full board has viewed them during the course of the year, not simply at the time that they're approved for posting.
Should they be reviewed by Bob to make sure that they are?
That's
Actually,
part of
they-
job scope, all of, he is in possession of our policies, and when there's a material change that
he's supposed
he
to-
believes affects us, he's so proactive.
Harris,
That's part of our agreement.
We do this at City of Glens Falls, also, and we do it annually. And so our annual meeting is always March 31st. And so we start doing that in January with the committees or board members. And I would encourage you to do it annually, and maybe do it as part of your annual meeting, because around the same time, you'll be updating some of the stuff to, the state website to, and so it just makes it more efficient, I think, to be able to do it at that time. Yeah, and some of them are a little bit more detailed, and oftentimes staff are saying, you know, here are the ones that we think need a closer look, if you will, and maybe make some. Might need to get.
I call my son has a tutoring.
All right, so we'll continue to receive any input you guys have for them at any point. We'll just continue.
Does the staff have any input as an operational procedure issues that we should be considering? Because we're not handling them, we're looking at them in theory.
yeah,
In theory is one thing and practice is another.
Well, I think in many years, we went through the exercise less than a year ago, of creating a handbook, so essentially we wound up covering a lot of the things that the staff either had questions on, it, like out of step at that point, so I doubt it, but we'll continue that.
And the ABO or the, what's the ABO, it's basically the controller's office has a unit set up. And they actually, will post updates to, such policies on occasion too. And so I always, recommend as a city, go through the ABO website and see what updates they're recommending, so that we're getting feedback from them as well as from staff and board members. And so that's why we start kind of in January and finish at the end of March, because it is almost that long time.
Okay, so we'll continue to carry these, but if you have input in the meantime, you're welcome to share it. I was like, with the meeting.
okay. Move on to update on renewal of QuickBooks.
We're working on getting ownership of the QuickBooks. Along with us. So I think that.
Are you still using that company to help you? Company?
To help me reach them? Well, no, we're at the point. They should be responding to me in the next couple of days based on the time frame that the laptop responses have been, and if they're going to continue to ask for more documentation, then the next step is to get it.
Got it. And this is May 31st or June 30th?
I think it's June 30th, so we're still okay, and
Okay.
we have also decided that we're not going to do, I think this is a conversation we had after the last meeting, that we're not going to do the online version, we're going to incur a bit of an expense, that we're going to take the desktop version. So that we don't have to compress our information into a tighter system platform. Yeah, that was the recommendation.
When you go into quick from desktop to online, there's a certain amount of data loss on migration. Because it keep the depth of the history tends to truncate.
Yeah.
Compress.
So to be continued.
Well, so I
It should be resolved, actually.
but there's a recurring thing. Our website, we incurred additional costs to essentially transition it, and at some point, whenever we make any architectural changes, we will wind up paying more for some of those same services that we do today. On QuickBooks, whatever choice we take, if it's gonna cost us money, I want us to take the one that is most compliant and that where we have the best command and access to our information, even at a significant price increase. And the same is going to be true for Zoom, I suspect, with the new open meetings law. I think we're going to have to reflect this in terms of how we share our costs with some of our funders, and I'll be putting that together ahead of whatever funding requests we have. Because if we continue to bear them everywhere, it will eventually get to us.
Yeah.
There also may be a decision about whether or not we need, for instance, a fully functional website we have. But I think in the case of QuickBooks, we definitely need to have a clean record.
Yes, and actually the new QuickBooks will be a lot more efficient. You know, in terms of like reconciliations, and there's a lot of information that I'm not gonna have to enter anymore. I'm gonna be able to speak to the bank and get them information to populate. So in a lot of ways, it's gonna be a very time saver.
QuickBooks just dropped its rates for the upcoming year, which begins September 1st. They're going up about 50% across the board on desktop and QuickBooks Online. So we've got clients on QuickBooks Online, they're paying anywhere from $30 to $40 a month to $220 a month. They're going to be looking at anywhere to $65 to almost $300 a month for that product. Desktop's going up for the majority of my clients are in the 650, which is the Pro Series, which I think you are. That's going up to 900 and change on the regular.
Because they can.
That's exactly right. There is no other software on the market right now that comes close to the abilities of QuickBooks. There's FreshBooks and Xero and all these other ones out there, but they do not do near what the QuickBooks has capability of. There's no expectation that's going to change, because anybody that comes on the market may undercut it a bit, but going to be stupid.
So you're gonna be able to talk to the bank even though you don't have the online version?
It's not, yeah, I should be able to, maybe talk to the bank is the wrong word. I should be able to download a spreadsheet from the bank, from our bank, statements. And that spreadsheet, I should be able to upload it into it.
So desktop's been able to do that since version 21.
Okay.
But not all the banks participate. Glens Falls National is one that doesn't participate clean, and you have to export into a CSV file and then import into it. The national banks like Bank of America, NBT, the big ones, they all are fully interfaced. But I don't know about Anoretic Trust. I've never had anybody run up against that.
It's Glens Falls National, as long as it can be done.
Yeah, no, I've got clients doing it CSV at least.
Yeah,
Because I had QuickBooks Online and you could pull everything right across. You didn't have to mess with spreadsheets and so forth. I was just curious. I'm not a software expert, but when I think, closed system as opposed to the online system, it's just wondering functionality.
That would be a conclusion of our meeting. If there's no other conversation, I'll note that the next meeting is July 9th at 4 o'clock. We do have a board meeting tomorrow.
Are we having a joint meeting? I thought.
We're a board meeting, the full board meeting has been set aside, it's up to you, whether you want to take the committee meeting. We're not having a July full.
Cancel both of them.
We're gonna
need an
not-
August finance meeting.
Yeah. That's fine. So we've agreed to cancel the July 19th. So there's no board meeting in July, and there's no. Because I would call for a motion, unless there's nothing else to discuss. A motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Second. Discussion, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Same. Yeah, definitely. I was thinking